You know, it's an interesting kind of, I'll call it a trance that you go into when you play. The simple answer, the glib answer is I think about where to put my fingers, which is true. But honestly, I've kind of, there's a mysterious thing that happens that once I've kind of learned the piece, I don't really have to think about where to put my fingers. They kind of go where they're supposed to go. And I'm singing the music. I'm feeling the music. That's what I'm doing while I'm playing, if I'm doing it right. You know, it's an interesting thing because I've found that if I play for other people, there's a different thing that comes through than if I'm just playing for myself. In fact, it's often difficult sometimes to sit down and play for myself. Even, I mean, if I need to practice something, I'll do that. I'll sit down and work on it. But there's a different energy because you get the energy from the people who are listening to you when you're performing, which is why I like to go out and play in front of a live audience. Because it inspires me to play, I don't know, better, more seriously, whatever, than I can ever do by myself in a room without anybody else around. I'm able to fit it in various places. I don't have a regular 9-to-5 job anymore like I used to when I was working in the corporate world. I'm a college teacher now. I teach some classes here at the Art Institute. I teach for the San Diego Community College District. I perform, and then in my other time I write. I compose, like the piece that I played here today. And I also work on trying to get my music out there and get it placed and find places in the world where it can make me some money. Well, I started, I first took guitar lessons when I was a youngster, 7 years old actually, but I didn't stick with it. But I took it up again a few years later. When I was 11, I said, you know, I really want to do that again. And my folks got me a guitar, and I never stopped since then. So I played all through high school. I had a group in high school. I actually made a record album in high school. If you can find a copy of it now, it's a rare collector's item on eBay. They go for about $500. I'm serious. We released it in, I think, January 1970. We recorded it in fall of '69. So, but I kind of lost the thread there.
How long has it taken?
Oh, okay, yeah, that's where I was. So really, I was playing well enough in high school, obviously, to make a record album, write half the songs and so forth. But I decided I really wanted to be a good guitar player, and went to college to work on doing that. So it's been more than 50 years that I've been playing seriously. And I would say, you know, in the 70s, my playing was mature enough that I could give concerts and that sort of thing. I was actually in a country rock band in Cleveland in the 70s. We're in a book that's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, in fact. So I had that whole experience out of my system before I decided to go and get serious and get my bachelor's degree and master's degree in music and classical guitar. Well, first of all, just music itself, harmony, affects the human nervous system profoundly. You know, everyone knows that, everyone feels that. It's the source of a multi-billion-dollar industry. So to be able to sit and control it yourself, you know, to kind of play what I want, to hear something and then say, oh, I like that, I'm going to play that. It's magical. I don't know how else to describe it. It's like, hey, here's something I can do that not everybody can do. And I have been able to do it for decades, and I really enjoy it. So, I mean, there's also, I'll say this, when I was, so why did I take up the guitar? When I was in 5th grade is when they come around and give you band instruments and say, hey, you want to play the clarinet? You want to play the flute? I had been in a playground accident when I was in the 4th grade and knocked out my front tooth. I didn't have a permanent tooth in the front of my mouth. I've had a bridge all my life. So they came around and looked at my mouth and said, you can't play any of these. We'll send a guy out from the music store. And they did. They sent a guy out from the local music store with a guitar, and he played some, and he told me that I'd be popular with all the girls if I took it up. So I said, okay, and by God, he was right. No, I found that really it's a wonderful way of being able to just be with other people. Obviously, you can be the life of the party if you're the guy who plays and sings, right, or the girl. So you know, it's always been enjoyable in that way, and I have managed to make a living at it. Now, not always just playing the guitar. I've been in the audio, video, music, industry. But I've always been close to the music world and the audio world all my life. So even though my degrees were in classical guitar performance, I didn't have a career as a classical guitarist, but I've been able to make a living and enjoy doing music and teaching music and things about music all my life.